Welcome to the Belated Tech Channel's 67th edition and second year of the Space and Tech Rewind. We are reviewing the milestones that occurred on each day in the week of September 20th through September 26th in space exploration, science, and technology. September 20th, 1954. The first successful test compilation and execution of a computer program using what became FORTRAN was run by Harlan Herrick at IBM on this date. It took until 1957 to develop into a fully operational commercial product. By 1958, the language was expanded to FORTRAN 2, which included subroutines, functions, and common blocks, and then expanded again in 1962 to FORTRAN 4. FORTRAN's design was the basis for many other programming languages. Among the better known is BASIC, which is based on FORTRAN 2 with a number of syntax cleanups, notably better logic structures, and other changes to work more easily in an interactive environment. The IBM programmer's original objective was to develop a language that will allow users to express their problems in commonly understood mathematical formulae. As implied by its expanded name, Formula Translator, FORTRAN was designed as a high-level language for technical and scientific applications, which primarily needed calculation rather than working with characters. The language eventually dominated scientific computing. It has been in use for over 6 decades in computationally intensive areas such as numerical weather prediction, finite element analysis, computational fluid dynamics, geophysics, computational physics, crystallography, and computational chemistry. At the time of this video, despite its age, FORTRAN was ranked 13th in the TOB Index, a measure of the popularity of programming languages. September 21st, 2003. NASA's Galileo space probe ended its 8-year mission to Jupiter as planned on this date. The Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, directed the craft into Jupiter's atmosphere to burn up, totally vaporizing its structure. This prevented the possibility of any later uncontrolled fall onto a moon, causing contamination with bacterial life from Earth, perhaps carried on the probe since launch. Contact was lost with the spacecraft slightly after 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time. More than 1,000 people who worked on the Galileo program gathered at the laboratory to celebrate the end of the mission. Galileo was first conceived in 1976 as a mission to Jupiter and its moons, Ganymede, Callisto, Io, and Europa. We cover the Galileo mission in Milestones 109. September 22nd, 1792. This day was adopted as Day 1, Year 1 of a new French Republican calendar, the so-called Calendar of Reason, marking the start of the new French Republic. The French Revolution created a new government keen to break from the aristocracy, the Catholic Church, and their institutions, including the Pope's Gregorian calendar. The new starting date was set retrospectively, as a committee worked until September of 1793 to develop the calendar. So, in fact, the Gregorian calendar continued to be used until the Republican calendar was implemented on November 24th of 1793. The new calendar had 12 months of 30 days each, divided into 10-day decades instead of 7-day weeks. 5 supplementary days ended the year, 6 in a leap year. A day had 10 hours of 100 minutes each. Napoleon abolished the Republican calendar on December 31st of 1805, and following his final abdication in 1815, none of the succeeding French states reinstituted it. The French monarchy had adopted the Gregorian calendar in 1582, its year of inception. We covered both the Gregorian and Julian calendars in Milestones 123. Want to know how to navigate our channel content? We refer to tech documentary segments as episodes. Coverage of current events in space exploration, science, and technology are labeled as shorts. Space and tech history are documented in an anthology called Milestones. Gameplay recordings can be discovered on the Belated Tech Gaming channel in videos called Walkthroughs and Side Missions. Reviews of tools and equipment hail from the Tool Crib. And reviews of small electronics and appliances arrive by way of the Radio Shed. Looking for a specific video on our channel that we may have mentioned in one of our other videos? Links to those episodes can be found in the description section below. Also, we have begun labeling our video titles with numbers, such as M105 for Milestones 105 or S49 for Short 49, so viewers can perform a title search. Finally, you can peruse our entire 300+ video library by looking at our playlists, which conveniently sort videos by subject. September 23, 1953, WD-40 was invented and recorded for the first time on this date in the Rocket Chemical Company's logbook. It was the water displacement 40th test and first successful formula created by Norm Larsen for a lubricating penetrating oil intended to displace water for rust prevention. In 1958, it was packaged in cans and sold to the consumer market in San Diego, California, where the company was founded in 1953. It was named WD-40, its original test designation. The name of the company Larsen founded reflects its original purpose to supply materials used in the manufacture of nuclear missiles, for which WD-40 was designed to coat structural components and prevent corrosion. After wide success with its versatile but only product, the company name was changed in 1969 to the WD-40 Company Incorporated. As of 2021, the company is still independent, although publicly traded. It had $381 million in revenue in 2017. September 24th, 1852. A new invention, the dirigible, a semi-rigid airship, was demonstrated in a flight from Paris to Trappes on this date. French engineer Henri Giffard installed a small 3-horsepower steam engine of his own design in the gondola of a 147-foot-long spindle-shaped coal gas balloon. This engine turned a 11-foot propeller, producing a speed of 5 miles per hour against the wind, over a distance of 17 miles on a 3-hour trip. This was the first powered and controlled flight ever achieved. Giffard's dirigible was never commercialized, but his ideas were refined by the German Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin in 1874 and commercialized in 1895. In 1858, Giffard patented a steam injector which became widely used in locomotives, making him extremely wealthy. The engineer died by suicide 24 years later in 1882, but left his fortune for humanitarian and scientific purposes. We covered the Zeppelin in Milestone 70 and the US's first dirigible, the USS Shenandoah, in Milestones 119. Did you agree with our choices, or are there other events that were better? Go ahead and share with us by dropping a comment below. And if you have suggestions for an event in the future, we'll take those too. We'll credit events we pick for future videos to those viewers that post them. We hope you have been enjoying our content. Have we earned your subscription to our channel? If yes, and you have not taken the opportunity to subscribe, please take a moment to do so now and click the bell notification icon so you don't miss upcoming videos. We want to continue delivering great content to you. You can always unsubscribe, and subscribing is free. September 25th, 1820. Frenchman Francois Arago published his findings on this date that a copper wire between the poles of a voltaic cell could laterally attract iron filings to itself. His discovery came in the year that Danish scientist Hans Christian Ørsted discovered that an electric current flowing in a wire could deflect a neighboring compass needle. Arago, in the same publication, described how he had successfully succeeded in causing permanent magnetism in steel needles laid at right angles to the copper wire. Arago and countryman André-Marie Ampère discovered and experimented with forming the copper wire into a helix to intensify the magnetizing action. However, it was not until 1825 that the electromagnet in its familiar form was invented by English engineer William Sturgeon. Arago later devised an experiment that proved the wave theory of light, showing that light waves move more slowly through a dense medium than through air, and contributed to the discovery of the laws of light polarization. The engineer later entered politics in 1848 at the formation of the short-lived French Second Republic as French Minister of War and Marine, and was responsible for abolishing slavery in the French colonies. September 26, 1973, the supersonic French-British aircraft Concorde makes its first nonstop Atlantic crossing and sets a new speed record in the process on this date. Flying from Washington, D.C. to Paris, France in 3 hours and 32 minutes at an average speed of 954 miles per hour, the Concorde cut the old speed record in half. The Concorde was considered to be a commercial aviation marvel at the time, and many pundits anticipated that supersonic air travel would soon supplant subsonic aircraft. Unfortunately, that turned out to be not the case. The Concorde, as well as the similar Soviet-built Tupolev Tu-44, had numerous engineering problems, not the least of which was that they were quite noisy inside the cabin. The sonic boom from their passing into faster-than-sound flight also sharply limited the number of airports that could accept the craft. No other supersonic commercial aircraft other than the Concorde and the Tu-44 were ever built again, and the Tu-44 was retired in 1999, and the Concorde was retired 4 years later. Only 20 Concordes and 16 Tu-44s were built. In 2021, NASA and a number of commercial startups are exploring the possibility of reviving supersonic jet aircraft, and SpaceX is planning on using Starship to fill the same role with semi-orbital ground-to-ground launches. We'll keep you posted with any new developments. On August 3, 2021, Virgin Galactic, the suborbital tourism company, announced the first stage design scope for the build of a high-speed aircraft design and the signing of a non-binding memorandum of understanding with Rolls-Royce to collaborate in designing and developing engine propulsion technology for that aircraft. This followed authorization from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration's Center for Emerging Concepts and Innovation to work with Virgin Galactic to outline a certification framework. The basic parameters of the initial high-speed aircraft design included a targeted Mach 3 certified delta-wing aircraft that would have capacity for 9 to 19 people at an altitude above 60,000 feet, that would also be able to incorporate custom cabin layouts to address customer needs, including business or first-class seating arrangements. The aircraft would take off and land like any other passenger aircraft, and be expected to integrate into existing airport infrastructure and international airspace around the world. There was no mention in the announcement as to when the company would expect a working prototype to be demonstrated. We hope you enjoyed this 67th episode of Bladed Tech Space and Tech Rewind. If so, click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe or just stay in touch by following us on our microblogging accounts, which are listed below, as well as in the community feed for this channel. We announce all new videos on those outlets. Stay connected by occasionally checking our Instagram feed and Minds page, where we post content from our upcoming episodes and from episodes past that you may have missed, and where we cover current news and events related to channel content. Thanks for watching.